Support for this episode is provided by Pennsylvania College of Art and Design and listeners like you.
Welcome to the Lancast. I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Slesser.
And I'm Jason Mundock.
And I'm Shawn V. Martin.
This is Guys Night. Welcome. Before we get started into the listener questions that from the internet, this new pub went in my neighborhood, and it's called Mix All American Pub. Have you seen this? It's where Fiorentino's used to be, on the west side of town, down by Stone Mill Plaza. And it's called Mix All American Pub. And I drove by there today to come over here to record this, and there's a sign out front that says Thursday specials: nachos, tacos, and margaritas.
Sounds all American.
The question was, what does that mean? What does all American mean?
Whatever we can steal from anyone else.
I guess that's what it is. I mean,
we're like the China of food. Or the Japan of food.
I don't know. Like, what is all American? Like,
that's right.
Does that mean you walk in and there's just like nothing featured on, like the theme has nothing to do with anything but American stuff? Is that what the...
Well, apparently not in this case.
Like patrons and meat and potatoes. I don't know.
And that's not a cut on the place. I mean, I'm sure that it's a good place. I haven't been in there yet, but it was interesting because it's billed as the All American Pub, and their big special is.
When you really think about All American, like America's is just like call it. I mean, it was always called the melting pot. You know, it's like it's made up of. I mean, we don't have like our own. It's like your German American or your Irish American or your African American or your there's no just like oh, I can tell you're American by the way you look when you walk in here. Maybe by the way you're dressed, but not by the not by the color of your skin or the way your hair is or anything like that.
We're such a young country. We haven't established our culinary traditions yet.
Right, exactly. So.
And I wonder if
except for French fries. I mean, that's all American.
You mean freedom fries?
Freedom fries, yeah.
But the question, I guess, becomes then with the way the global neighborhood kind of world that we live in now with the internet and things like that, will America develop its own? I can only imagine if 500 years ago, if you lived in a country, you probably didn't travel. The majority of the people didn't travel outside of the country they lived in, and the cultures were very connected, even within small regions within countries, right? But now it's so different.
Yeah, I think it's globalization has become
exactly.
So like we're so the whole world is so much more connected.
So will we define our culinary identity as Americans, or will food just sort of?
Yeah, we already have, unfortunately, and I think it's McDonald's.
Hamburgers.
Because everyone comes to America and they go, oh, I'm going to eat Chinese tonight. I'm going to go out and eat Indian food or stuff. When you're in India or in Mexico or in China, they don't go, I'm going to go out and eat American. They go, I'm going to go eat McDonald's tonight.
Maybe that's it. But have you even noticed with Asian restaurants in this country, it's more and more fusion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So less and less just straight Chinese restaurant, or it's more fusion. You're kind of mixing things together.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who doesn't like ethnic food at all, but we can generally get him to go to a Chinese restaurant buffet because a lot of times they have chicken nuggets.
Wow.
And
that gets the job done.
Yeah, and he just gets chicken nuggets.
Maybe by all American they mean they have like football on the TV or something.
It's more than likely that's the case. It's probably not much different than Fiorentino's, which was an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Which, besides the fact that all the food was quote unquote Italian, it felt very much like a regular bar.
Were you in there when it was Florentino's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I missed it. I mean,
it was excellent.
We live really close, so I drive past it all the time.
Well, now you can stop and have some nachos on Thursday nights.
I also noticed that they advertised on their little sign they had free Wi-Fi. One night they were like, "Oh, free Wi-Fi," and I was
one night.
Well, it's like
for one night only.
Yeah, one night only.
We're bringing in the router.
Order a meal, get a password. I don't know. The other side of the sign said free Wi-Fi and then like karaoke or something that night, and I was like,
"They've got everything at this place."
It is probably the best place you've ever been, and we none of us
it's
have ever been there.
Shangri-La, and we're just ignoring it.
We're just staycationing this year and going there every night. For the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I can't. I mean,
we're just going to watch Netflix on their free Wi-Fi.
for a restaurant like that just seems like a weird thing to say free Wi-Fi for.
Well, Wi-Fi's isn't it pretty much everywhere now? Like McDonald's.
Again, McDonald's.
McDonald's. Chili's had it. Chili's and Ruby Tuesdays have it as well, because when we had dinner there, I checked it out on my iPod.
Look at you, fancy eating at Chili's and Ruby Tuesdays.
Chili's.
Why don't you brag some more about it?
That was on our anniversary. Okay.
Big spender.
Yeah. And the TVs are in McDonald's now too, so I guess maybe just like the world's cultural differences are melding together, perhaps all of the different types of restaurants will eventually just become one.
All world.
It'll all be McDonald's someday.
Everybody will be serving cappuccino and frappuccino and all these other chinos, and everybody will have 38 TVs running ESPN 1, 2, 3, 26,
26.
and everyone will have free Wi-Fi and nachos.
That is a world I want to live in.
That's the future of America. That is an all-American future.
And then restaurants will go the same route as house concerts, and you'll have house restaurants.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
I think that probably already exists.
Probably.
Can you have a dinner party and ask for a donation?
There we go.
I don't see why not.
Right?
Have live music. Provide live music too.
Yeah.
That is scary.
You come in. People come in, sit at your dining room. You wait on them.
What do you do for a living? I cook food in my house and serve people.
There's got to be regulations against that.
I'm sure there is.
Well,
but they can't stop us, the man.
So we have a whole lot of questions here from the fans. Where to begin? Here's let's just start at the very beginning. Sherry chimes in and says, if you could pick one person, real or fictional, to rule the world, who would it be? David.
I'm going to start off.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start off with going God Emperor Leto Atreides, because
I have no idea what you just said.
I don't know.
If anybody can rule,
It's from Dune.
Okay.
God Emperor of Dune, Children of Dune. He rules for 3,000 years. His main thing was that there can't be peace without war, and that in order for things to get done, the ruler needs to be a tyrant, or needs to be viewed as a tyrant.
Okay. Cool.
Much more complicated than that.
I hope
So basically, he wants there to be a tyrant oppressing us.
Well, he saves humanity, but through 3,000 years of being a tyrant.
A tool?
Yeah, basically. That's who I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it.
Apparently, I should read that book.
You should read them
You should read them all before you get to that.
I'm destroying my nerd cred.
I have none to start to destroy. I was confused by 70% of the questions that came out of the feed. Keith, who would you have rule the world?
Who would I have rule the world? Probably Gandalf.
Darkwing Duck.
I don't know. Myself. He said anybody, right? Yeah, I'd rule the world. I'll do it myself.
I'll vote for you, Keith. Yeah, why not?
I'm probably.
So
I'm better than a tyrant.
Your person is Keith Slesser to rule the world. That's 2 votes for Keith.
That's 2 votes for Keith.
One vote for a 3,000-year-old tyrant.
Fictional tyrant.
Shawn?
All right, I'll pull out a character who I think could rule the world just because everyone would love him. It's SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'd buy that.
Would Patrick run for vice president?
Sure. Yeah, or at least in the cabinet, I think.
All right, I'm canceling my Keith vote.
No. Keith vote's already
Now
there.
there are 2 votes for SpongeBob.
SpongeBob 2012.
2012.
All right. Moving along. See, here we go again. What is the one nerdy thing you've always wanted to do or place to go, but just haven't been able to get to? This is from Jason.
Read
me.
Dune.
Nerdy thing.
Mine is go to the holiest of holy nerd meccas, San Diego Comic-Con.
That's it? That's the big one?
That's the big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that's it, like, that's
all you want
to do?
Stop crushing my dreams, Jason.
But that's the
That's the holy grail.
why? What?
It's, I don't know. Well, I guess I don't know if it's like what made it become so big, if it's just because it's in San Diego or what, but it's huge. I mean, I go to the New York Comic Con, and that is really, really big, and the San Diego is like 3 or 4 times the size of that.
Yeah.
And it sells out within like an hour.
Wow.
So
Have you tried?
No,
It's
no.
done.
It would. The thing is getting in is it's only like $100 for the week to get in. It's not very expensive, but travel and then lodging and all that stuff is
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. You know, it adds up. So you're basically living down there for a week and a half or whatever. So
How about you, Keith? Bring it.
I don't know. If there's anything that I
could
mean,
be music nerdy.
it could be music nerdy.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Like, is there a place like, you know, a Graceland kind of thing?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Well,
I've done that.
Chili's. What was the other place?
Applebee's.
Applebee's and Graceland.
Yeah,
Keith is
Graceland.
well traveled.
Yeah.
We used to drive through Memphis all the time. We were living in Texas. What would nerdy thing that I'd like to do? I don't know. Most nerdy things involve like a basement, don't they? Of your parents. And I've already done that.
So do a lot of illegal things.
I don't know. Here, okay, a nerdy thing to go out and do that I've never done. That mainly because I've just always been too shy to do it. Would be to show up at an opening night of something dressed as a character.
That's a good one.
You'd like to do that, or
I like that. I'd like to get to the point where I'm brave enough to go out and do it, and not feel like I'm ashamed.
Hang with me long enough. You'll see me and you'll be like, if he can do it, I mean, nobody's trying to kill him. I might as well do it too.
I was at the Star Trek movie opening once, and there was a Klingon battle that was acted out before. It spooked me. It really, I mean, it did.
Spooked you, or
Yeah, it did.
Or
It
reached
scared-
you on a deep level
No.
of Star Trek nerdiness?
No. I'm a pretty passive Star Trek fan. You know, like I enjoy it, like I enjoy other.
So I don't want to go out and like reenact anything. I just want to show up dressed as a character. Actually, what would be more fun for me, because it would fit my personality, would show up for a Star Trek premiere dressed as a Star Wars character. Just to freak everybody out.
That had to.
That's been done.
Yeah, I was going to say that had.
Well, I know it's been done, but I'm just saying I'd like.
You better show up as a Lord of the Rings character.
Lord of the Rings character. That would be cool.
you gotta go way off base. You know, and really throw people off.
And pretend like that it's a Lord of the Rings movie. Is that the idea?
No, I don't even pretend that. Just come and pretend like I have no idea that I'm not dressed in the right costume.
I'm pretty sure I saw a midnight screening of a Harry Potter movie that there was someone dressed in a Spider-Man outfit.
The best is if the person doesn't pretend like they don't know it's the wrong costume, but just like, well, I really like this character. Why shouldn't I dress up like them?
I was just wearing this. I happened to come to a movie today.
This is how I dress all the time.
I just got off work
I like
at
the
McDonald's. So that was an interesting evening. A friend of mine was a bigger, more active Star Trek fan, and we went and these folks were in real, the full outfits. This is maybe in the 1998 or so. But I think secretly I wouldn't mind going to one of the conventions. I've never done that. I don't even know if I've had an opportunity, if there was one, close enough or nearby. But I always thought that'd be kind of interesting just to kind of see what that's all about. People watch a little bit. I don't know if I could do the uniform.
To kind of go along with it, and I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before or not, but I've always wanted to go to a Star Trek convention. And at one point,
You haven't gone to a Star Trek?
I haven't. You would think,
see, I would have pegged you as like having to been to.
I would. The thing is you look at them. You look at them, and the ones that aren't like the big ones in Las Vegas, they look really sad, and you're like, if I went there, I might feel really depressed afterwards. But like the one in Vegas is like, and the casino's all done out, Star Trek-y, and
yeah, right.
And it's like,
I mean, I guess that's my impression is that I would want to go where like Shatner kind of makes a guest, and he's like walking down the hall, and people are high-fiving him,
right?
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
more so than I wouldn't want to go to like the Wichita Holiday Inn, on a Saturday morning and
right. Well, there was one at the Philadelphia Convention Center when I was like 13 or 14. And my mom told me that we were doing something for my birthday and what day it was, and it was on the day, one of the convention days. And did you fill that up for me?
Yep, got it.
And she had me convinced, and I kept going, "Oh, Mom, you're so great. You're taking me to this Star Wars convention, and we're going up." And like, I should have picked up because we were going up in the evening, and she had me dress up, and I was like, still like, well, maybe she's just like trying to make me, psych me out. Like, it's later in the day, we're still going to Star Trek convention, and we're driving up, and the whole time I'm like, oh, this could be so great. I'm so excited. And she had to pull over, and she was like, I can't do this anymore. We're actually going to see Pirates of Penzance, the ballet.
Whoa.
I was crushed.
For your birthday.
For my birthday. I was crushed.
Did your mom know what you liked?
Is your mom listening right now? How dare you?
What's wrong? I wound up really liking Pirates of Penzance, even though it was ballet and all that stuff. But regardless, it wasn't a Star Trek convention
Wow.
that I thought I was going to.
That's quite a shift.
It is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine I was not happy?
I think she should have given you a little bit more warning
Yeah.
than on the drive there.
I guess she thought I'd pick up on it.
All right. Well, I don't know how far we can go with this one, but speaking of Star Trek, so Mike asked us to review the literary analogs of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
You can't even get that one out.
Well, I'm out.
Especially in regards to Q, Data, and William T. Riker. So I don't know how much I can contribute to this either, but you guys might want to run with it there, David. And
Well, I even responded to him on this one, and I was like, Sherlock Holmes, and he said that didn't count because they were playing Sherlock Holmes on the holodeck. But I mean,
No, because that's in that episode they were playing Sherlock Holmes, but there's another episode where Data first learns about Sherlock Holmes, and then
that's true.
he acts like Sherlock Holmes the whole way through the episode. Then when they're trying to figure out, I forget what it was some mystery they're trying to figure out, and he keeps saying indubitably, "My dear Riker."
and of course, he didn't ask for it, but Picard was like Macbeth, like all the time.
Yeah.
So Shakespeare stuff.
all right. Well, how about Q?
Q had a good one earlier. What'd you say, Napoleon?
Q did Napoleon. He also didn't he just as. I'm trying to think when the first episode that he showed up as like a ship captain from like the 16th century or something like that, but I can't remember.
Oh.
I can't remember who it was.
All right. Love you, Mike. We're moving on. Let's see. If money wasn't a factor, where in the world would you want to visit? Money wasn't a factor. Sean, let's start with you.
I've always been. I have a couple tattoos in Latin on my body because I am somewhat obsessed with like the old cradle of civilization, and I've never been outside of the country except for the Caribbean islands. I would love to go to Europe, Italy, Greece, like that general area where I could see like
Yeah, the beginning. Yeah. Well,
the beginning of
I guess,
of
Western
the
civilization.
Western civilization. Yeah, I would love to explore that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. It's amazing being in the United States and seeing things that are really old, like parts of Philadelphia, and they're nothing compared to.
You could go over to like the Netherlands and see a bridge that is 300 years older than this country, and it's just like a bridge that hundreds of people walk over a day.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
That is one of the things that we don't, that we certainly lack here, is that deep, rich history. How about you, David?
I would go to New Zealand and see the land and the Lord of the Rings stuff and that kind of thing.
That was all shot there, right?
Yeah.
All of it?
Yeah. And then
Hobbit
if
being
for some reason New Zealand was destroyed before I get all that money together, I'd go to Japan. So that's my backup plan.
Japan.
You're picking another island.
Hey, if you can't win one, you might as well take over the other.
I don't know. Where would I go? I'd probably go back to like India, Nepal, Tibet area.
Yeah.
Boring.
I really I've been to India and I'd love to go back there again now. Like I was only 20 years old when I went there before, and the state of mind that I was in at that point, it was just overwhelming, and I was just sort of just scared by everything and everybody and everything. It was it was just a very I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as looking back on the memories now. I can see I'd love to be there again, and because I could actually enjoy it more now with being far older than I was.
I think the first time you go anywhere, it's often really hard to connect to it, and it's only like later when you look back on it, or when you go for a second time, that you actually really get a sense of the place.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because we're going to Ocracoke Island next week, and I've been there once, and I didn't even find out until we were leaving that is the place where Blackbeard died, like the Blackbeard. And I was like, wait a second, how deep is the history of this place? And it turns out it was like one of the earliest forts in the colonies and all this stuff. And I was like, but I'm leaving now. so we're going back there next week, and I hope to settle in a little bit more and actually learn about the place instead of like just going to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. You sort of take it for granted, or you have blinders on, I guess. Maybe the first time you see a place, you're just sort of, especially if it's a very different place. Like I can imagine going to India. That's a dramatically different culture. Tibet was what I was going to pick too. I think that'd be interesting to see, to experience that, or frankly, I think I'm fascinated by places like Afghanistan, but it'd take more than
dangerous.
Money. Yeah, it'd take more than just having an unlimited amount of money.
That might be worse if you go there with that.
Right.
But if you had unlimited amounts, you could build the Iron Man suit.
Well, that's true. I think that just the terrain and it just seems really fascinating. You only see it in movies and video and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's kind of where I'd go. I think the pyramids look pretty cool too, though. Egypt.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of pyramids, I had thought about my backup plan. If India, for some reason,
if you can't make it to India,
can't make it.
If India sinks into the ocean,
the whole continent.
New Zealand.
My backup plan. I'd go down. I'd head south to the Incan and Aztec ruins.
Oh yeah,
and check them out.
You should be able to get there.
Yeah,
that's not too far away.
That's pretty close.
Could walk.
I could probably take me a while. But
would that be close? That's like closer than
times.
Hawaii. Wouldn't it be closer than Hawaii?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's closer than Hawaii. It's probably similar.
I think the better question is does it have more poisonous fauna than Hawaii?
Yes, it would. But I wouldn't take my kids.
You can't walk to Hawaii.
Well, that's a good point.
I can't. Well, I could. I'd probably drown before I got there. But
yeah, it's true.
All right. Good question. Oh, here's another one from Corey. Who would play you in a movie?
Me?
Yes.
Me first.
No, I think we're all just going to say who would play you.
Who would play you, Dave?
That's right.
Oh, I don't know. Who would
play David?
Who would play me?
Jack Black.
Jack Black?
Jack Black could probably pull it off.
I could see with the beard. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Black.
Yeah.
He'd tear it up.
Yeah. Yeah, either Jack Black or
George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney or
Sean Connery probably.
Daniel Craig.
He retired.
Could probably pull it off.
Who's Daniel Craig?
Bond.
New James Bond.
Oh.
Current James Bond.
Current James Bond.
Yeah, I guess Jack Black. I was gonna say either Jack Black or Seth
Rogen.
I don't know anything
I think
about
Jack
movie
Black
people,
could definitely
man.
do better.
Seth Rogen is a better match for your voice.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. The way we talk matches better.
I don't think I've ever seen you as intense as Jack Black.
Yeah.
So Jack would have to dial it back.
Yes,
to
he
play
would.
Dave.
His energy level's always at 11.
Yeah. That might be a little difficult. So, probably just Danny DeVito. Just settle for.
I get told all the time on my videos that I look like the kid who plays Neville Longbottom in the Harry Potter movies.
I can see that.
And, I mean, sure. He seemed like a good actor, so...
You go with him?
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Jason?
I have no idea who'd play me in a movie.
Dude, Steven Seagal or Kevin Sorbo from Ladies' Night because they were comparing your hair. So it would have to be one of them.
Yeah, right on.
I could see Kevin Sorbo.
The hair is very important in this casting decision.
Yeah, he has a sword too. So now you've got all the votes from Ladies' Night.
All right.
So.
Very good. Settled. Keith?
Who would play me?
Who's the actor that played Tintin in the movie?
I don't know.
Well, that guy would be Keith.
See, I don't know.
That was an animated movie, right?
I would be animated. My movie would have to be animated because no one could.
Oh, okay.
Faces,
do the things I can do.
The actors that did the voices, though.
I don't know who it is.
So Keith would be animated.
I'd be animated. No,
Kind of be like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We'd all be real people. Keith would be an animated.
I'd be an animated.
He'd be Gollum.
I'd be an animated. I'd be Gollum.
No, I could see playing you would be what's his name? Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah,
he's got a similar name.
Keither.
Same initials, right?
Yeah, Keither.
He might be a little old for the part. Does he have a kid?
Or
Yeah,
Tom Hardy.
Like me.
Well, he'd be playing the older Keith Slusser.
Okay.
Tom Hardy, but not as Bane as the guy he was in
Inception.
No, the one where it was a romantic comedy with Reese Witherspoon.
I can honestly say I didn't see whatever that is.
This means war.
I don't know. What that
Yeah, I
is.
saw it.
Kevin Spacey. I don't know.
Kevin Spacey can play anyone.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. So Eric says what remake should be made, and what remake was a bad idea, movies or television.
No one here say Thundercats.
Thundercats was a bad idea?
to reboot.
You think it was a good idea to reboot?
Wait, has it been rebooted?
It has been.
It
Yes.
has been.
Oh my god!
And it was pretty good.
It was
Damn
really
it.
good, actually. Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
I'm starting to think you're not a nerd.
Quite possible. No, I had no idea that was rebooted. Apparently, that would be my answer for what shouldn't have been rebooted. But I haven't seen it, so I can't.
It was actually really good.
Yeah, it was good.
That's weird.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, do what I say. I think what should not have been rebooted, Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that. That's not. And what should be rebooted is... I'll think about that while you're talking.
I have such a limited scope of film and television that I don't know if I would be able to answer this question. Because I think pretty much everything that I would have watched...
Has been rebooted?
Yeah, like Dukes of Hazzard, things like that. They always...
That should not have been rebooted, though.
I can't imagine that it should have. It shouldn't have aired in to begin with. But, yeah, I don't know if I have enough knowledge.
I think that's kind of my feeling with the Chocolate Factory. I have such a problem with Roald Dahl books being made into movies, period. I never think like they did a good job.
Yeah.
The books are so different.
From the movies, you mean?
Yeah, I heard a while ago that there was going to be a Twits movie, and I got really upset because I don't know how that movie would have to be rated R. Those people are evil people. That's kind of the point of the book.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it again, so I don't know if it just went away and died somewhere or what.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna switch since you're hardcore about. I mean, you agree with Charlie and Chocolate Factory. I'm gonna say the TV show that should not be rebooted is Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm gonna go with the movie. I mean,
Right.
Because first off, the movie was bad. M. Night Shyamalan did the movie. That's how you say his last name. It's technical.
I stopped understanding you like 5 minutes ago. I don't even know. I didn't even know if I thought maybe I was having a stroke. That's why I brought it up. But you can understand me right now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is an amazing cartoon, and then actually even the follow-up series is The Legend of Korra is really good. But they made a movie, the same name. They just called it The Last Airbender because it came out at the same time as Avatar, and it was horrible. And so many people know of this movie and don't even realize that it was this great TV show beforehand. And because of the movie, they won't acknowledge it even after you bring it to their attention. So I don't want anyone else to touch that as a movie. Ever.
It won something like 5 Razzies that year, including Worst Picture and Worst Director.
Yeah, I know Sean's on board with liking Avatar. So.
Oh yeah, Last Airbender is amazing.
Yeah,
it's one of the best kids shows for adults I've ever seen.
Yeah, and actually, Keith's kids did they just start watching it?
Yes. At my when they go to be babysat at my mother's house, my nephew, who is several years older than them, watches it, and they sit and watch with it.
If you don't know what it is, look it up. Even if you're an adult, it transcends the age limit. Other than after 3 episodes, the first 2 episodes are very aimed at capturing the attention of children, but after that, the story really thickens and it gets really good. So those are mine. I back out. I'm done.
I'm gonna cause some controversy. I wish that Star Wars were not under the total control of George Lucas and someone could reboot it. And not necessarily tell the story of Luke and Leia and everything again, but like tell an original story in the Star Wars universe without George Lucas like standing over their shoulder and being like, put Jar Jar Binks in that shot. I would love to see someone else's vision of Star Wars.
Leave your hater comments below.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because,
David just distanced himself from.
I think one of the cool things about Star Trek, and I know that there's still a
overall.
Yeah, there's a body of people that control that stuff, but you still have seen over the course of 40 years, you've seen a bunch of different interpretations and. Right, there's been a lot of different styles of Star Trek, but you haven't seen that kind of thing at all with Star Wars.
Yeah, I think the best like reinterpretations that there have been in video games. Like a lot of video game companies have gotten a hold of the property and done really interesting things with it, but no one's ever done that on a TV show. No one's ever done that for a movie. I think the closest that we've seen is the Clone Wars,
and the animated,
and that is a completely different thing.
Although I will say the original Clone Wars was much better than the new cartoon.
The original Clone Wars is the only one I've seen. I have not watched any of the new
the CG
series.
one? Yeah.
Correct.
It seems really cool, but then they talk, and you're like, so if you can tune out their talking, it's cool.
Then they talk.
Keith, what do you have?
What do I have? Boy, I don't know. Most of the movies that I would say most of the things that I say should be rebooted already have been rebooted and then rebooted again. Batman, from the original television series to the movies with Michael Keaton to the newest movies.
To the reboot coming in 2015.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
So that one's just been rebooted. Although I've liked almost every incarnation of that character that I've seen. A television series, I think Voltron should be rebooted.
It has
again.
So third time.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Power Rangers, I don't know what.
All right.
I don't watch TV, okay? I don't really,
You have nothing to add, Jason?
Not really. I'm trying to think of what I even watched when I was a kid that might not have been. Because they do it all, don't they? The A-Team got redone.
That movie was awesome.
A-Team got redone.
By the way, I like
Ooh, Airwolf. Airwolf should be rebooted.
Knight Rider's been rebooted 3 times now, right?
What's that?
Knight Rider?
Knight Rider, yeah.
See,
at least once.
I don't have anything. Hong Kong Phooey? Has Hong Kong Phooey been rebooted?
I don't think so.
No.
All right, I vote for Hong Kong Phooey. Number 1 super guy.
Kung Fu, the legend continues.
That was rebooted back in
You remember Hong Kong Phooey?
In the 90s.
Do you remember Hong Kong Phooey? Have you ever heard of Hong Kong?
I've never heard of that.
I've heard of it. I don't think that I've ever seen
alone in my Hong Kong Phooey-ness? All right, Hong Kong Phooey was a Saturday morning cartoon. I guess it was, I think it was maybe Hanna-Barbera. Probably in the mid-70s.
No, I have seen. I know.
And he had a cat, and it was like, Hong Kong Phooey, number 1 super guy. That was like the theme. And he was like this dog that was a janitor.
I can't believe I missed this.
Oh my God, you got to go back and watch this.
That's going to be your theme from now on whenever you introduce yourself.
Phooey, number 1 super guy. And there was a cat. He had like a cat, and it was his friend or his whatever. I don't even remember if it was his friend or his enemy, but he was his dog, and he was a janitor, and he would turn into Hong Kong Phooey. And he would save the day.
Wait, so the main character was a dog?
Yeah, the cartoon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, I've seen him on Hanna-Barbera posters.
I think he was part of that. The Hanna-Barbera cartoons, they had these Olympics every once in a while. These shows, and like on Sunday, you'd see, and it would be like all the different characters would come together and do these Olympics.
They should just reboot the Hanna-Barbera line.
Yeah, okay.
There's a good one.
I'll go with that.
Well, they did a Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
They did Flintstones movies.
Cartoon-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not into live action.
No, you know what? Don't touch that.
Yeah.
That stuff's too good. It was too good.
It actually is. It's the retro look of it. Because I love my kids were watching
you don't want to go
Rocky
back.
and Bullwinkle the other day. I put it on for them, and they loved it.
Yeah, you don't want to go back and
I don't
mess
know
with
if I'd
that.
want to change it.
I'm just waiting for the live action version of Mickey Mouse on the sailboat whistling.
I think they should reboot Steamboat Willie.
All right. Joe, he wants to hear us discuss what different movies would be like if Gene Wilder was in the lead role and what that would look like. And there were 3 suggestions: Doctor Who, Terminator, and Mary Poppins. And there's some controversy over is Doctor Who a movie?
No, it's a TV show.
It's a TV show. I think
Well,
they made like
they were
some
kind of movies back in the day.
but
Right.
I asked if it was
So
the
we can run
original-
with
the
3 other
original
ones,
or
too.
the new Doctor Who.
So what if Gene Wilder was the lead in Terminator, Mary Poppins, Doctor Who, or...
So Gene Wilder would have appeared from the future naked in that parking lot instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Gene Wilder would have played Mary Poppins.
I guess so. I'm not going to be able to interpret
That would
Joe's
have
question any...
Gene Wildest if that happened.
Yeah, that movie's going to cause some controversy. The man who calls himself Mary wants to be your kid's nanny.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about Mary Poppins. How would they deal with that in that time frame?
How would they deal with
wouldn't.
Gene
That's-
Wilder as...
Dressed up as calling himself Mary, wanting to babysit your kids.
Wow.
And singing just a
Singing.
spoonful of sugar.
Wow.
Well, we know he can sing at least. He's got that.
I think Jason's mind is continually blown throughout this evening.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know about the other ones. I mean, he could. I mean, anyone, not anyone, but like Doctor Who's such a versatile character that
I think I could see him pulling off the Doctor Who.
Yeah,
character.
you place anyone in there and they can make Doctor Who their own and make it work. It's very difficult to do a bad Doctor Who, I feel.
Yeah.
So that's my personal.
Haven't there been like 11 or...
It's been 11.
Okay, yeah. Wow, I'm glad I knew that.
Wow.
There we go.
First nerd cred.
Nerd cred back.
Write it on the board.
So what if Wilder was
We're
Luke
only at
Skywalker?
-6 now.
What if Wilder was Luke Skywalker? He'd be too old. He'd be younger.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Kiefer Sutherland's playing Keith.
How old is Mark Hamill?
that's true.
He's got to be like, what?
Well, so are we replacing
60?
Mark Hamill's career completely with
Gene Wilder?
So
Because that wasn't a very big career, was
Gene
it?
Wilder. Well, Mark Hamill's really known for doing the voice of the Joker in a lot of
Really?
voice acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And in fact, he's announced he was going to retire like 2 or 3 times, and he keeps coming back and doing it in more things. They can't get rid of him now.
Yeah. If you look up the Batman the Animated Series and clips of the Joker, that's Mark Hamill.
I never knew that.
The
I thought
laugh
he was
that
just...
we always associate with the Joker is Mark Hamill doing that maniacal laugh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I'll clip it into there.
Right on.
Hello, operator. I believe my party's been disconnected.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Well, there you go.
Of course, I didn't know that. Any other Gene Wilder replacements before we move on?
I think we're good.
Ron asks about, this is really bizarre, composite descriptions of summer using all of our senses. For example, summer tastes like blank, or smells like blank.
This feels like homework.
It feels like therapy.
Summer feels like homework.
So, David, do you want to run with this?
Summer tastes like.
Does that mean
salt?
So does that mean like what foods do you eat,
No, I think it's like.
or what do you smell?
Yeah, like.
What
In
are
the summer?
smells associated with summer? Like,
Well, no, I think it's more like summer's like a steamy hot dog. I don't know. First off, let's just say Ron has.
you're talking about the senses. Like,
Hold on. First, let's just say
That was a simile. or
Ron
something.
is bleed over from Sean's podcast, and he always has
Oh,
great
okay.
questions that he contributes to Sean's. So
Normally, they're not so abstract. They're things like, how often do you lose a sock in the dryer?
I'm gonna say summer tastes like summer feels like a steamy hot dog. I'm sticking with
You sure you don't want to rephrase that?
summer. Summer tastes like a steamy hamburger.
Keep digging.
Summer tastes like a White Castle hamburger. There we go.
I think summer. One thing that I automatically associate summer with is corn on the cob.
Okay.
Right.
So it tastes like.
All right.
Yeah, I guess butter and salt.
Especially around here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of.
And I even said so.
Or the opposite, corn on the cob.
You're taking credit for his answer now?
or the opposite, that corn on the cob immediately reminds me of
summer.
The seeing it on the for sale, but I'm not a fan of eating it off the cob. I've discovered. Do you ever watch somebody? Do you ever just watch intently somebody eating corn on the cob?
I try not to.
I feel like
it's a crazy it's really insane.
You're seeing the caveman version of that person.
I just imagine you at a picnic and somebody's eating and you're just jaw dropped, sitting across from them, completely staring at this.
Because it's like a 4-bite motion. It comes in. The shoulders kind of go up. Yeah, you kind of hunch over it, right? You're like a dog. You're looking out of the tops of your eyes. You're looking, and you do a 4-bite. Everybody does a 4-bite thing. Nobody just goes right. It's like.
It's like the typewriter from the.
It is. And at the house the other day, one of my kids got braces, so she can't eat corn on the cob. So we got the corn cobs and sliced off.
Right.
Yeah.
Sliced the corn off, and one cob of corn created this massive mound of corn on the plate. I was shocked at how much corn, because a lot of grown-ups will knock back 3 cobs.
Yeah.
Because it goes down so fast because you're doing 4 or 5 bites at a time in that motion. I was like, can you imagine what 3 cobs of corn cut off the cob looks like? It's like a serving bowl. It's like if you go to these family style restaurants, right, and they bring out the serving bowl. That's what you've just consumed in your by eating 3 cobs of corn. So now I cut it off.
Yeah, I generally cut it off too.
Yeah, and it sprays all over the kids when I'm cutting it. It squirts that
juice, water,
that corn.
Yeah.
But it's that motion. Watch them next time. You watch.
Captured on video.
Yeah, you watch.
That's an assignment for Shawn's video blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that action you're describing is the reason that I don't eat meat off the bone. Because
it's exactly
I hate looking like that, so I don't do it.
Yes, exactly. It's that same sort of primal. I'm going to attack you if you get close to my plate. Yeah, look, people sucking on the pork chop bone.
Yeah.
Sorry. Moving on.
I would have to say that summer to me tastes like one of the things I associate is rhubarb pie, because I love rhubarb pie. Strawberries or rhubarb pie. It smells like in the summer. What smells I associate with summer are sunscreen, because I'm always putting sunscreen on the kids as they're going outside to play, and a grill going outside.
Yeah, always putting your kids on the grill.
Because I'm always putting my kids on the grill.
Just make sure they have sunscreen on.
Marinate them in that.
Yeah. I live in the shadow of Clipper Stadium, so I'm going to say that summer sounds like
an explosion,
a bomb going off for 20 minutes. Yeah.
How often do they do those?
At least once a weekend, sometimes twice.
Oh.
And some of the time I'm not there, but when they do it at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, I'm home.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And then all the dogs in the neighborhood are like, "Hey, there's fireworks! Hey, there's fireworks!"
We lived on the corner of Ross and Queen when we first moved in the city, and it was the year that they opened the stadium. It was the year that
your
they
property value declined.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible because they were doing fireworks every night because it was the grand opening. They were just and our windows were shaking, and we had just had our first Katrin, our first child was just born, and so we're trying to get this baby to go to sleep, and it's there's a war going on outside.
Well, we hear it. We're 2 miles away, and we hear it.
Yeah, when I moved into Lancaster, I actually lived near Millersville, and there was this one night I was like, "What is that sound?" My cats were running around the apartment freaking out, and I was like, "What is that?" And I cracked the window, and I still couldn't figure it out, and all of a sudden it clicked 5 minutes later. I'm like, fireworks.
Fireworks.
And then the next weekend, fireworks. And now I'm a block from the stadium, so there's no mystery anymore.
I gotta admit though, it does look cool if you ever driving up Mulberry, like between King and Orange, like that little hill right there when the fireworks are going off. It's all you can see. Like it fills that entire the street, like between the buildings. It looks really neat. It looks like it looks like Disney World.
I'm jaded. To this day, I don't go see fireworks because I just hate fireworks so much now.
Well, I'm not a fan of fireworks, but I was driving up there one time and they started going off and it looked kind of cool.
Baby, you're a firework.
I am.
All right, so Susan wants to know if we dream in black and white, or in color. I have no idea.
I've heard that there's like this statistic somewhere, I don't know how anyone could know this, that like most people, like something like 75 or 80% of people dream in black and white. And when I heard that, I instantly realized I have no idea.
I don't either.
I dream in color.
Like I remember like thinking in a dream that something was red, but I don't know if I'm just telling myself that afterwards or if it actually really, if I did see it as red. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine a dream scene to be able to say, oh, well, that was clearly color.
Yeah, I can. I dream in color.
Yeah, I definitely.
You dream in color, too?
Yeah, well, and it's affected by noises around because of my synesthesia. If there's loud noises nearby, like the colors in the dream will be.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I had a really bizarre dream the other day that I'll share. It wasn't bizarre like, a hawk flying out of someo's nose or something like that. It was bizarre.
How do you know my dreams?
It was bizarre because I was I can't remember who it was I was with now, but I was with this guy. I was with this musician who had come through and played one of our house concerts. And so I didn't know him very well, but in the dream, all of the clocks, every clock was at a different time. All right, so we were trying to figure out what time it was. So all the clocks are different. But that wasn't the weird part. The weird part is that we're having the conversation, and I'm going room to room with this guy, and we're looking at our phones and looking at computers and the clocks on the wall, and they're all different. And I said to him, this is so strange because it would be like this was a dream. But it's totally not. I mean, you're real and I'm real, so we're not dreaming, right? We couldn't be both dreaming. And I had this big conversation with him about how this is obviously real.
Yeah.
And how it's extra weird because if it was a dream, it'd be whatever. But because it's not a dream, it's extra weird.
So the question is, are we ever really awake?
Okay, so we're going to go Descartes now. Philosophy 101.
Wow. That is pretty crazy.
I thought that was a crazy dream. I woke up, I was like, well.
I have those dreams, and I know you talked about this on your show, where you dream that I was pointing to Shawn there, where you dream that you wake up and you're getting ready.
All the mundane morning tasks.
Yeah, you're doing the tasks, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not awake, and like it hits you and you're like, this isn't real, and then you wake up and you're like, crap, I just did all this stuff.
You gotta do it again.
Or you're late, you're like, oh my god, I gotta walk out the door now and I'm not dressed yet.
Right. So
anyway, what are those all about, those dreams where you show up to work and you're naked?
I don't know, I've never done that one.
You've never had that one? That's a pretty common
it means
thing.
you're really sexy and everyone else should know.
Is that what it is? All right. So Carter chimes in with a question about razors. Mm-hmm. What's your preference? Electric, disposable, straight, or none?
Oh.
Going mountain man.
Harley Mortensen style. I use the disposable 3-blade. Tri-blade. And it has, it's actually 4 because you can turn it over and it has one straight edge for like corners and stuff.
Wow.
Or like the edge of your beard. Yeah. It's the Gillette Extreme 3 or whatever.
Sweet.
Not the power one, just the...
And I should point out that David and I are both in the Bearded Brotherhood.
That's true. We are in the Bearded Brotherhood.
Oh, we do shave because we trim?
Yeah, we both have Starfleet regulation beards. So, Riker would be proud.
Keith?
I only shave like once every few days because I hate shaving. As you can see, my scruff that I have.
But your beard hair is like the same color as your skin, so
it is. So I get away with it at work.
It's a little less noticeable.
I don't get away with it with the wife because she won't let me kiss her, or, like come within any near her because she said I have sandpaper face. But when I do shave, I used to. I had the Gillette Fusion thing, which is kind of like that, but it has 5 blades on, and it has like the 1 blade on the back. But and I liked using that. But the thing is about it is it was like $15 for like 4 blades to replace it.
Yeah, they're expensive.
And I didn't buy the Gillette. I got it like in the mail in one of those. They were sending them out, and my dad got one too. Like they were sending them out as like a promo. That you got one in the mail with like extra blades, but then when it ran out, I went there and I looked at the price. I said,
"Yeah, actually,
$15." I said, "No way." So what actually happened was now what I shave with, I've gone really back.
Piece of glass.
Yeah, I do. No, not quite that far back, but I actually use my grandfather's old razor, which has the flat. It's not like the straight like Western, with the
right.
But it's a it just has one flat double-sided blade that you put in the top. You turn the handle and it opens up the top of it, opens up like a bay door or whatever, and you just put this razor blade. You just drop this razor blade down and then close it back up.
Like like a razor blade, like you put in a box cutter.
A little nicer than that.
Okay.
They're a little sharper and nicer edges. And then you and they have a blade down both sides of them, so you can.
That's pretty
shave either way.
snazzaroony.
And then I just you get done with the blade, you take it off in the little box that they come in, which comes with like a box of like 50 for like $1 or something.
And how long do they last for?
For me, because I don't shave. If I shaved every day, it would probably be like every 4 or 5 shaves. I'd have to get rid of it, change the blade out. But I don't shave every day, so they last a week or two, a couple weeks before I have to get rid of them. And
that's pretty solid.
And it's only now with that one I have cut myself twice because it's not like the new fancy everything, but for the price that I'm paying versus the price of the ones that are going to be a lot nicer, I'm just kind of like, you know what, I can justify a nick every now and again. So
I gave you the wrong name. I actually used that razor that you got in the mail, the Fusion. But I think it only has...
It has 5 blades on one side and then a single blade on the other side.
I thought it had 3. But whatever. That's what I use. And he's right. Yeah. They're expensive. It's like $15 for 4.
Yeah, it's like 4.
But one of them will last me 3 months. So it's not that it's not that big of a deal for me.
So it's $15 a year for you.
Yeah.
Like one a quarter.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I think
they didn't last that long.
Too. They didn't last that long. I have a Gillette something, but I don't know about this one blade on the back thing you guys are talking about.
It's for like so.
But I'm saying I might have been
around the beard.
But I might have been overlooking this the whole time, just not knowing it.
And he could never figure out why he always sliced his finger open when he. What's going on?
Maybe mine don't have those. It's like a 3-blade thing. I get the Western family version.
Okay.
You can get the try the Western family where they put on the thing like just like the Gillette whatever on the box. It's like the generic kind.
Yeah.
I just get that, and it's like a couple dollars for the refills.
But you, Sean, you're always clean shaven. You got to be clean shaven for work.
That is true. But I don't know whether to blame my mom or my dad's side of the family for this. I can barely grow facial hair. Period. I get like patches. I get my chin. I got my chin. Like the mustache area, and then just like random spots on my cheeks. So I have like the cheapest disposable razors because one of them will last me 2 or 3 weeks. I will only shave every 2 or 3 days because I don't grow hair on my face. I kind of wish I could, but like you said, I can't for work. I literally can't. Yeah. So it's not really that much of a problem. Maybe in like 10 or 15 years, I'll be annoyed that I can't grow a beard, but... Right now, it's not bothering me.
When we all go back to the Norse way of living, and your beard is...
I don't know, I'd do without it. I'd trade you. Yeah.
I'm not wishing it right now. I'm not like, man, I wish I had the capability.
With the beard. So I look baby face without.
Yeah, I do too. I started this beard when my second kid was born 9.5 years ago. Just
stuck with it.
Took a week off of work when she was born. Didn't shave for a week. Said,
See, I like how I look in a beard. Most people like it. My wife likes how I look in a beard. She doesn't like how it feels, though. So
you got to let it grow longer, then.
Well, and even my
so it gets less.
It's real wiry.
Even when
it grows, it keeps growing thicker.
Prioritize that beard, man.
Prioritize that beard. Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for listener questions. So you guys ready to talk about the real stuff now?
Yes. So before we close up, before Jason takes us out, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Kickstarter. He's got a gun. He's going to take us out, literally. Sorry, Shawn, your first time to Guys Night, and it's your last time at Guys Night.
Yeah, you really should have sent one of your clones.
Yeah, you really should have. But, okay, so I want to talk to you about Kickstarter. I know that we've semi-talked about this. I can't remember if it's on the show or not, Jason, Keith, and I. But Penny Arcade is, which those of you who don't know, is a webcomic that does video game stuff. They employ something around 14 people. They make money from ads and commissions and all that stuff. They have proposed the idea of making a year of their company on Kickstarter.
Woo woo! Robert Koo, get that ass ready. Idea train coming through. It's coming through.
Do you have a ticket for the idea train?
Get on.
We have one of our brilliant ideas.
Yeah, right. Another one.
You know how everybody's kickstarting?
Yeah.
You ready to get kickstarted?
Yeah.
We're kickstarting Penny Arcade.
This shit right here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's happening. So, coming to you, let's say, hypothetically, we were to get rid of all the advertising on Penny Arcade. How much money would we need to run the company?
$100, right? $100.
What we think. Maybe 200. I'm highballing.
I'd say about $1 million.
What the fuck?
What? Fuck you!
Are you kidding? Beat him up.
Fuck you!
What are you fucking talking about? $1 million?
White collar crime. Embezzler.
That seems like a lot of money. How?
I'm too frightened by this situation.
Well,
I can't engage with him right now.
I'll engage. Where does this money go?
Well, we need to pay, for instance, to keep the lights on, which are...
No, yeah, okay, the lights are off
What now? How much now?
There's health insurance.
Is that even real?
Rent on...
Thanks, Obama.
Rent on the office.
Yeah.
Salary.
I saw some boxes in the fucking alley. We're moving today. Box office.
Salaries, you mean like the three of us?
For all the other employees that work here.
They all get paid? My friends?
They all get paid to be here.
They're being paid to hang around us? Yeah. Okay, first of all, that's fucking backwards. All right.
Bullshit.
We're working on this. We'll be back.
And so, usually Kickstarters to get people started in something,
right?
Or to it's like, for instance, we're working on one, Keith and I, and it's to from new equipment to make things better, but it's not to pay us or anything. But this is to support 14 people, their livelihood and make a semi-profit, and it's their video is really interesting. They just, it's actually kind of funny the way they do it, but it's an interesting concept. Will people crowdsource?
This is really funny. We cut this from our podcast this week.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Okay, well then it's good we're getting it out here.
Why did you cut it?
You can tell Carter that he missed out.
We cut it because we don't... we were actually going to talk about whether this is allowed or not, because Kickstarter is for projects, and it specifically says in their statement about what you can make a project about is that you cannot ask for money to pay for your life.
Yeah.
And it seems like Penny Arcade is walking a very thin line about whether this is paying for everyone's livelihood or not, or if it's just to remove the ads from the site, which is their primary goal that they've stated.
But that opens up a bigger discussion, which is that Kickstarter, in particular, has been very useful in teaching the public about crowdsourcing, right? About donating money for a reward of some kind to help somebody get something off the ground. So who's to say that with that culture re-educated, or that and the public re-educated in that sense, that people can't just put a donate button on their website now,
right?
And just completely bypass Kickstarter. Yeah. And that's the thing.
My question was, because I've been a member of the Rooster Teeth website for 6 or 7 years. I pay a twice yearly subscription fee just to support those guys because I like what they do. And I asked, doesn't Penny Arcade have a similar thing? And apparently they don't.
Yeah. Just a subscription model.
I think
they
used to. But they made, they were able to get steady income from ads.
The revenue, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's, in order to get on Kickstarter, you have to go through an approval process.
I know, and clearly they've already made their goal. Their initial goal was $250,000, I think, and they've already hit that. And then they have additional goals that I think they were able to set a $250,000 goal that is, we're going to remove the leaderboard or whatever from the main page. Yeah. That was the only Kickstarter goal. And then beyond that, they have like, if it gets to $1 million, they're going to run the site ad-free for a year.
Yeah, and at 4,000 or 400,000, they're going to do a reality show for webcomics.
Yes, and actually, they've already kind of done a version of that. They did like a reality show for hiring people at the company. Really? Yeah, it was really fascinating. It was better than reality television I've watched.
Like they could do that film wise to do a good job. These are some creative guys that if they had the freedom to not have to do projects to make money, like if they had like the money's here, we can do whatever we think the readers want. They could do some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think they just need I'm surprised they just don't have a subscription model if they're that popular that they can raise that kind of money on Kickstarter.
Yeah, Gabe and Tycho are the guys who founded PAX. I mean, they're very well known in the community.
Yeah, why not just say here's a tiered subscription model? Right. You can chip in $10 and get practically nothing.
It could be like public radio or television.
Yeah, exactly.
This is here. You get your like tote bag for for $15
subscription,
or a CD and flowers for $75.
Right.
Maybe if they do a year ad free, then they can focus some of their time on creating that model. Because I mean, I could see that being difficult to create when
you're under the gun of making the ad revenue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The Kickstarter thing's fascinating. We had a conversation about it on our blog about Lancaster specifically, in the performing arts, and at what point are we extinguishing? Like for example, we see these projects and it's 30 or 40% crossover right now. So the same donors are donating to these different arts projects, which is bad, because if the same 30 or 40% are contributing to these projects, that means that
eventually they're gonna
run out. It's just, I mean, they're not going to be chipping in $100.
They're not Bruce Wayne. They don't have unlimited resources.
Lancaster only has 3 Bruce Wayne.
But I think there's that was specifically that conversation. But I think that there's a bigger, there's so much more to talk about on a bigger scale, right? About what Kickstarter's kind of done to change the way people, get these projects off the ground and run these sort of independent and small and micro businesses and all these different things. It's just fascinating.
It was actually kind of funny. Blind Ferret Entertainment, I think it's Entertainment. Well, Blind Ferret, they do Looking for Group, and Least I Could Do 2 webcomics. They're they're kind of on the same level as Penny Arcade, but not comic stuff. Like, it's just creative webcomic. And they do actually 3 comics, and one of them is called Gutters, which makes fun of the comic book industry in general. And they had one of their Gutters comics was making fun of the Penny Arcade Kickstarter, and it was like, we need to pay the mortgage on our castle, and Lar and this guy need $100 bills for their daily money fights, like all this crazy stuff, and they were like, give us money. It's pretty funny.
All right, well, that's it for Guys Night. Thank you all for listening, and if you'd like to leave comments or feedback about the show, please drop a comment on the show post, or you can comment on Facebook. So for the Lancast, I'm Jason Mundock.
I'm Keith Slesser.
I'm Shawn V. Martin.
And I'm David Moulton.
Asking,
are you in the cast?
We hope you've been enjoying the Lancast.
This episode was produced by myself, David Moulton, with show notes by Keith and Lawrence Slesser.
All pertinent links to this episode can be found in the show notes at thelancast.com.
If you specifically liked this episode, we ask that you consider making a donation.
Every little bit helps. Even $1 a show can keep us going.
If you'd like to help support us, you can do so by going to thelancast.com/donate.
And don't forget to subscribe in iTunes and tell a friend about the show.
So, for the Lancast, I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Slesser.
Asking, are you in the cast?
We heard something, Kiko.
We heard some disturbing news.
Yeah, a trend.
It starts with you.
Yeah.
Heard that you get paid to be our friend. Do you get paid to work here? What do you do with this money?
This wealth, our money.
That you steal?
They buy food. How many times a day would you say you eat?
Don't lie.
We'll know. We'll know.